I'm making this video because it's Mythic Plus, it's pugging, it's funny, it's a submitted key. We love it, we laugh at it, we learn from it like always, but I'm also making this video for a very specific reason. The person who submitted this to me is Cop. He is definitely one of my best friends in the world, and without question, my best friend like on the internet, and he is currently in the hospital. I won't speak for why, but he approximates that he'll be in the hospital for about a month, currently unable to obviously like play WoW, make any content, and he does expect that he will now miss the War Within launch, and certainly the pre-patch. So he's battled health stuff pretty much his whole life, but I'm not here to tell his story. His channel is going to be down below if you guys want to leave a comment to hopefully when he comes back read and feel excited about being back. Up to you guys how you want to handle it, but this one's for you, Cop. Thank you for another great submission. Let's get right to it. So this one's perfect because we have a lot of stuff that Comp is commenting on, and we'll see how it goes based on his commentary. But right out of the gate, he sees that guy do that, and he has never seen a tank do that before. It doesn't really save much time. From what you can, you'll be able to see, it's everybody's up here waiting, and this guy maybe gets like about a 5-second head start at most. But anyway, he's going to open with a very aggressive pull. It's kind of the opposite of a lot of the Bracken hides that we have shown. Thankfully, it's like a more normal pull. It's an 11, so you wouldn't expect the trash to go too poorly, but this is a good example of how you can have over aggressive pulling actually make it harder for you, especially in low keys. We talked about this in the halls. The guy who submitted this, he aggroed like a million mobs, and they simply were not ready for all the interrupts, and it caused pretty much like 2 full wipes that set the tone really bad for the rest of the key. Now, this is a little different than that. Let's go ahead and start it over because this is absurd if you haven't seen exactly what's going on. In the previous example, we had the tank choose to pull it, and then he survives and everybody else dies. In this case, if Watch the Bear, he is from Ragnaros, by the way, so nobody's probably surprised by this, but his gigantic pull that he chose to pull is going to be too difficult for him, so he just dies. Like, he gets deleted. Now it's going to cause a scramble. Obviously, at this point, everything's all over the place. We have the ability to kick, but we don't get it. The tank is back, but look at the Demon Hunter. This guy is going on a journey. I think he wants to now go to Azure Vault. He's swimming through the water. This cracks me up. Watch, you can see this mob actually start swimming. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you see a mob swimming in any dungeon, it's a bad sign. Look at this. He's all the way over to the right. Look at the top right of the screen. You can see his character, and look at that Crusher. I think the Evoker, does the Evoker end up dying here? I'm not even sure, but you see the mobs kind of swimming and then going backwards. Now, yeah, then he dies. So now they're swimming back. It just looks absurd to me. So is the pull wrong? No. Just like we said in halls, this is a good pull. This is probably not even as aggressive as he could have gone, but because he was unable to survive his own pull, we are now off to a thunderous start. But now we're just like pulling the normal size. We get this one pack, and then that like kind of patrol with the hunter and the little Doggenstein. Busting getting out of control. We have 4 stacks, and that is going to kill the priest who did try to mass dispel himself, but I think it just happened too late because he ends up dying anyway. This is a really funny 9th death we're about to add here. Watch, Cop is following this mob trying to kill it, and he just walks into a trap. That's a pretty bad mistake there. It's all good. So I mean, hey, you gotta keep punching. You gotta DPS. We talked about this. This was another whole video where a viewer of mine pulls this pack, and on the higher keys, people completely go nuts at him, and it ends up causing a disband. This is an 11. So again, like, you're weighing this reality here. Like, does it matter if he pulls these mobs that constantly do damage to each other, especially when DPS continue to suicide? Remember, we talked about the swimming mobs. Here comes another example of it. You see these mobs run. This is actually kind of a huge pain in this dungeon. You see that Mystic, right? It's just now under my webcam. Kind of runs off the right side of the screen. We got, 2 ranged DPS, and you're just going to see how much real time it takes to finally actually kill that mob that ran away. Here it is. It's still over there at 2% health, 300,000 damage. Everybody's just standing here, letting it free cast over and over again, killing people. We finally recognize it's still over there, and we go and get it. So 12 deaths before the first boss. Not gone great. They're going to get this boss down with 12 minutes off the timer, meaning we could have lusted on the first pack, and it would have been back up for this actual boss, which would have been huge for them. So we're up here now near Treemouth, and he is dragging the trash from the previous hallway over to Stink Breath. So now that, Stink Breath is down, and now we're just going to like glitch out. I guess he's lagging or something like that. Ragnarok's bear, no surprise, and he's gonna finally pull the boss. Probably one of the easiest fights ever. It's a pretty straight up fight, but obviously you have to kick. You see all 4 go off. That's wild. Watch it again. Decaying Slime, 4 casts, not 1 gets kicked. That is shocking that that doesn't kill somebody, but I guess, you know, it's only an 11. We have the tank frontal, and the druid healer, not the druid tank, is just standing in it. As you see, he kind of like spins them a little wildly, to be honest, after the knockback. You'll see we have Entangling come out, and I think that maybe is ultimately what causes him to move. Here it is, it's coming out, and he kind of just moves right, and it causes the boss to like flip. So it ends with just hitting the druid, who's just kind of standing. I mean, he didn't even recognize that it was moving, but he's just standing in it. So that's our first death on probably the easiest fight in the video game. Then we have this, which, I mean, I don't even, yeah, okay, watch. Here it comes, Grasping Vines. Look at the evoker on the right side. He is just full casting his rotation. Hey, at least this guy's devastation. And he is just going to get eaten and then just not survive getting eaten. So that guy is going to die. It was basically just those situations where people say, like, you got to stop your cast and move. You ever hear that as a ranged DPS? That guy never heard that, apparently. So now we're on our way to the third boss area, and pay attention to the priest in the middle of the screen. You got the kind of both paths converging on each other. I'm actually shocked he doesn't pull the left one too. It looked like he was going to, but he, I mean, I guess he just doesn't see them. And then at this point, the druid is just like fucking brain dead. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. Watch this all again. This is wild. So the priest just runs ahead. We see the tank is the guy with the blue box on his head. He's just sitting in this weird travel form back here. And then the healer just like straight up suicides and then baits Cop to do it too. Meanwhile, we have 3 deaths to aggro, and the tank is just standing there. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He's just watching these people die. So the Ragnaros priest, who just literally suicided, then baited 2 other people to suicide with him, says jaw, jaw, jaw. Stromy's favorite comment. The bear is now saying triple question mark. Then he says what? Then he typed a space, and then he typed another question mark. So that's 4. It's quad question marks. It's no like everybody jumps off the edge of Ruby life pools, but this is not too far from it, man. Like, what are you guys doing? What is this? Why are you following them? The guy literally runs. He aggro's trash. He obviously doesn't mean to do that. And then look at the healer's just like, I'll join him. I'm doing this in solitaire. So round 2, now we're over here again. If you wonder why the screen keeps changing colors, it's because Cop is using this stinky bright potion. He has trouble with his vision, so he uses these potions to help him see things easier. Apparently it doesn't help with the traps. Now it's back to the normal color, and now we're gonna basically ride across here, and we're gonna wait for the path. While we're waiting, the bear's like way ahead of the group. He's up there just like soloing the shit because everybody else kind of got blocked off. This happens a good amount of times. Everybody doesn't get here at the same time, especially if like a wipe happen like that, then you have a couple people separated. This is not an issue. This is just something that might happen. So we're fighting our favorite Hound Master here. He's got them Doggensteins, and they are biting house. And yet again, Cop is getting it chomped on, and he's got that bleed, but he is gonna barely live through that. We have 4 dogs up right now. Falling a bit behind on the DPS chart here. We see the DPS chart down below. It's not stellar. The key is like now we have under 9 minutes. So at this point, it is looking very, very tight. 19 deaths in an 11 tyrannical with no actual, I don't think there was any problems with bosses. We had those 2 deaths on Treemouth, the easiest boss, and otherwise no deaths to either of these other bosses. This kind of cracks me up. Cop commented on it too. I don't know if the guy is just in like some uber rush, but he just like leaves. Do you see him just walk away? To be fair, I kind of do this a lot too, especially when I get knocked over in this direction. He's just gone. The boss is just nowhere near him. He's down by the gate waiting for the boss to die. He's like spam running into the gate, like literally facing the gate. Look at that. He's not even turning to attack the boss anymore. You know the fastest way to kill the boss from 1 million damage? Turn around. So he's just over there running into the wall. That's how much of a rush this guy's in. And I don't blame him now. We are down to 8 minutes left on this key. We are going to move through this area relatively unscathed. Busting did get a little crazy, but no actual issues, no deaths. 19 deaths. We have 5 minutes and 45 seconds to kill this boss with no bloodlust. We totally messed up bloodlust on here. I didn't even comment on that, but yeah, definitely did not use use Bloodlust well at all, but it doesn't matter. 5.5 minutes to kill this boss should be absolutely no problem whatsoever. That is if everything actually went to plan. Watch this bear, by the way. He is blinking around like he's on a different planet, man. Like, I don't know what is going on with his character, but it looks like he's PvPing with all these random movements. They are actually not going to struggle to kill the totem, and they are going to wipe. How weird is that, right? I don't know that I've ever actually seen this happen. How do you think they do that? Think about it. Pause it for a second. Tell me how you think they don't die to killing the totem too slow, but still die. Watch, here it comes right now. We have the circles out, and watch in the right side of the screen. These small circles, you are meant to spread these, and as you see, these two guys just basically run right into each other. I'm not even really sure why. I guess it's because the affix, again, the hardest affix in the game, apparently. Like, everybody's kind of positioning, getting ready to go to the totem. I think, like, the one guy is just really slow moving, and then he just kind of moves at the last second and just sprints right into another player. It's not over, though. Funnier still, we get the battle res on the Resto Druid. He just eats the frontal, though. Look at this. Here comes the battle res. You know, the only guy who can battle res is the tank. The battle res is going to come out, and then the guy just literally takes it the second the frontal. Like, I'm not sure you could time this much better. It's like that priest in the halls we did last week. Guy takes the res at like the absolute worst second. Watch the timer. 3, 2, 1. He takes it with 0.2 seconds left. As he gets the res, he just instantly gets hit by the frontal and dies again. That's the healer, by the way. So a big issue now, they have to res him yet again. He's going to res right in the dead center of the room this time, and now he's up and he's going to stay up. But miraculously, they are going to be like, okay, like they are killing them. They're not like totally getting overwhelmed by this. And then this happens, and I still cannot figure this out. I've watched this like 5 or 6 times now. We're going to look at the recap here, and we're going to see that he gets meleeed. I think it's kind of obvious, but yeah, he gets meleeed. You can see like literally the second he gets meleeed, here is what his UI looks like, okay? I took a screenshot of it, I zoomed it in. Unless I'm like totally unaware of what I'm looking at, the only way he could have died like this was he taunted, right? Like you would immediately assume that he taunts. This is the provoke button. Am I wrong? Is this button down here? What is this? Control shift something? It looks like maybe 10 or something like that. It's not been used. He did not use it. It is not on cooldown. You guys who play other specs, like I don't know anything about what I'm looking at. He doesn't even mention this when he sends it to me. He's got this long list of stuff that he's showing me. Look at all the stuff he typed, right? Did not mention the fact that he gets meleeed, and now they have 2 players dead on the fight. They are ultimately going to end up wiping to that death there. I need you guys to cast a vote here, because I've looked at this for like 15 minutes. I cannot figure it out. He kind of walks up on those rocks, and then the boss just turns around and punches Cop. Seemingly no indication that he uses any spell. So is that a bug? I don't know if this tank is doing this on purpose. I have no idea what actually happens there. Now at this point, Cop does notice something that is probably not very obvious to a lot of people, especially doing an 11. You cannot kill this totem, all right? You're not going to kill this with 1 player DPSing. It's just not going to happen, okay? But they continue to put all their effort into attacking it. So I think the right choice here is to go full on boss. I think they have a shot at doing that. They have no shot if they continue to try to get this totem killed. So if at this point everybody continued to attack the boss, I think they could have finished it. It's probably not going to go well one way or the other. And then the tank just like randomly runs through the cloud. So now he's got 4 stacks. But like as you see, like they're still in this, and the boss has basically not moved. His health has gone down very, very little in the last like 30 seconds to a minute because of all these mistakes. If everybody was just attacking it, and you know, the healer was actually fully DPSing it, I do think the boss would be dead by now, and the key would have been upgraded. But at this point, they haven't even wiped, and the timer is now over. So I think, you know, one way or the other, they had a shot at timing the key if everybody attacked the boss. They had no shot at timing the key if everybody switched to the totem and tried to kill it that way. What are your thoughts on that? There's 26 deaths after we wipe. We are going to kill the boss now in the next pull, but there's a 27th death here that I just wanted to show. Just pay attention to the evoker's health bar. You don't actually see him die, but you see him start taking damage. Then Cop turns around and you see his corpse like 1 foot away from a mob. What are you doing? You can't go that close to them. What is he doing? Look at how close his corpse is to that mob. What happened there? So they're just gonna go ahead and have no issues this time. No ridiculous mistakes. And like I said, the hard part of the fight, killing the totems and switching in between that was masterful. They did an excellent job with it. Even when they lost the priest and they only had 2 people, they still were able to get by, and they could have easily killed the fight if Cop didn't randomly get meleeed. I didn't plan on making a video out of this one because there's a couple funny moments, like the guy like blinking around, or the situation where like the priest just goes and causes a suicide of 3 people for no reason. Those are funny, but you know, we see kind of stuff like that a lot. What we don't see a lot is the situation that Cop is now in. I don't know when the last time he did a key was. I don't know if this was the last key he did. Him and I were supposed to do keys together on the beta a couple weeks ago, and he just told me, hey, I'm not feeling well, I'm not gonna make it. And then the next thing I hear, I go on vacation and I come back, he's got pictures of him in the hospital, and he tells me he's gonna be maybe 4 weeks. And like I said, I don't want to speak for him, so maybe he'll comment here and we'll pin that comment. But this one I dedicate to you, my friend. You have been an absolute gem to play with, talk to, be a friend with. Honestly, one of the few people that I have met that give me hope for the future of this games community. Thoughts and prayers, my friend. I know it sounds cheesy, but I do mean it, and I hope others will lend their solidarity to a great man. Get better soon, man. We'll see you hopefully in the next one. I can't wait to review another one of your keys. Thank you for watching. Hope you feel better. We'll see you guys in the next one.